I'd like you to imagine that you finally figured out the career path that your life needs to take. And suddenly, you realize partway through your master's that there's only 4 jobs available in that particular industry. I was in a panic. Now, the other thing that complicated my story was that I thought I had all the time in the world to get the PhD, but I didn't anymore because I was going through a divorce and all of my resources were depleted. In comes the neighbor. That was awesome. He was a developer, and he said, I know you really want to do research, but if you learn how to code, you're going to be able to have a lot more job stability. He invited me to a meetup called Ruby on Beer, and even though at the time I was learning Perl and Unix and Emacs at this part-time job that I had, I didn't take it very seriously. But when I went there and I realized, oh my goodness, we're doing this quiz and I'm able to keep up with all these professional developers, maybe this whole job security thing with coding is for me. He looked at me that day as if I was some sort of young Wesley Crusher and decided that I was worthy to be taken under his wing as a mentee. It was fantastic. That event led to me getting an internship in parallel in computational science at the National Center for Atmospheric Research, which led directly to me getting an award at the American Geophysical Union, which led directly to a job as a data curator at the National Snow and Ice Data Center. And it was at NSIDC on this project that my boss says to me, hey, you're the one working in tech that actually understands how people think. We're about to release this product. Can you make sure it doesn't flop? And that's when I realized that I'd actually been wanting to do UX and have been working in UX the whole time. So if you don't know what UX is, let me explain. What I get to do is help companies build products that people are going to buy, but make sure that the actual end user experience is something worthy of being experienced. But at first, I did not get the job security that I was hoping for. Is anybody here a Star Trek fan? Have you heard of the whole concept of a red shirt? Well, if you haven't, a red shirt is the members of the crew who you don't know their name, but when you go down to the surface, they're the ones that die. As you can see, Captain Kirk and Spock are just fine. This scene happens over and over again. Well, here I was, somehow working in the startup world, thinking all I had to do was code and go into tech and I would be fine. But I was wrong. I felt expendable and it was scary. So instead of living this life where I was worried that the rug was going to be pulled out from under me, I needed to figure out a way that I was going to be in demand. And that's what I'd ultimately like to share with you today. 3 tips on how to make sure that you are not a red shirt and that you are on the right path and in a job that makes you happy. My first tip is to use your downtime really, really wisely. I made sure to level up whenever I was in between jobs, but don't burn out and try to work 7 days a week and level up on the weekends. Make sure you use your time strategically. My second tip is to get really involved in the community. With this, I was able to build relationships, build credibility, and ultimately increase my network in a really, really authentic way so that I was showing up to help people and they understood my work ethic and were happy to recommend me to those next job. My third takeaway is to deeply know yourself. This lovely lady here is thinking, or the chef is thinking that she's going to be a waitress, but she's a hostess cupcake, so she's going for the hostess job. For me, ultimately, I was able to stay in the startup world, but the only way I was able to do that was wait for that perfect match job. Now, luckily, because my network was so strong and I had leveled up on all of these places, I didn't have to wait too long for that perfect match. And now I can happily say that I am on the bridge with these guys who are in red shirts and not dying, and I am loving it. To end, I'd like to let you know that I have started a coaching company, and I am more than happy to spend a free 45 minutes with you. Go to this link, schedule a time, and we will figure out what you can do to level up, make sure that you're showing up in the community in an authentic way, you know yourself, so that you don't ever have to experience being a red shirt. Thank you.